Well, hello there everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Space Cowboy here with another video for you guys here today. The Cowboys win once again. They are now 6-8, and after the results of the Sunday games, they now hold the 14th pick in the 2025 NFL Draft for those that are curious. But they get another win. You know, they should be 7-7 right now, but it is what it is as we're trying to find building blocks for 2025, especially with some of the stuff that's been going on with Stephen Jones and the dumb crap that he's been saying over the past couple of days. But we're going to put that on a back burner for later. As we talked about the free agency approach for the Cowboys in a previous video, you guys can go check that out. But talking about this game, the Cowboys were in complete control of this game from start to finish. They really had one of the big hiccups where they fumbled the ball and then it led to an 83-yard touchdown. But aside from that, it was pretty much smooth sailing for Dallas. Going over the stats really quickly, Cooper Rush, 18 of 29, 214 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. He was only sacked one time. So good game from him to be efficient. He could have played a heck of a lot better, but again, being a backup quarterback, I'm not expecting you to do a whole lot. And considering the types of opponents we're going up against, it is what it is. Rico Dowdle, man, shout out to him. He is the first undrafted player since Arian Foster did it with the Texans to be an undrafted guy to have 3 straight 100-yard games. And he had 149 rushing yards, averaged 6 yards per carry. And his longest run was 12 yards. I mean, he definitely has been a huge focal point as to why this offense has gotten back on track. And also shout out to the offensive line. They've been playing much better as of recent. And it is frustrating how we can't have this complete unison of great play from all of the parts of the team, from the defense to the offense and all that other stuff. But that's a whole nother thing for another day. But hey, shout out to Rico because he gets closer and closer to getting that 1,000-yard season under his belt and getting himself closer to a nice paycheck come next offseason. So that's good for him. Going over to the receiving game of things, CeeDee Lamb. Shout out to him. 9 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown. This put him over the 1,000-yard mark for the 4th straight year in a row. He was close in his rookie year, making it 5 straight. But good on him, man. He's been playing fantastic football, especially when we've needed him to. And given the circumstances, this team has been playing pretty well, all things considered. And then shout out to Brandon Cooks making a couple nice catches. And also Jalen Brooks getting his first touchdown catch. And also for Jalen Tolbert getting a touchdown catch in this game as well. Moving over to the defensive side of the ball. 6 sacks for the Cowboys defense and a couple turnovers. You had Micah Parsons with 2 sacks, Chauncey Goldstein with 1, Oso with 1, Jordan Lewis with 1, and Carl Lawson with 1. And then you also had the 2 interceptions from Israel Mukwama at the end of the game and Eric Kendricks with a huge one. Awesome stuff there. And then you also had Marshawn Nealon and Chauncey Goldstein help with fumble recoveries as well. Funnily enough, with Brandon Aubrey, he had a pretty good game. The only miss he had was the 70-yarder, which is, oh my god, that was insane. I was really hoping he hit that. That would be cool, but it was outdoors and it was pretty windy, so I knew that he wasn't going to get that. But they got to try that indoors sometime. I really want to see him hit a 70-yarder. That would be great, because he definitely can. But yeah, good job on the Cowboys for holding the Panthers' rush attack to less than like 60 yards, 3.8 yards per carry. And I mean, just looking at how the Panthers struggled on offense to start the second half, they really clamped things down. And again, I understand that the Panthers are the Panthers. I'm not trying to say that the Cowboys are world beaters at this point. But the fact is that they did their job. And we kind of understand that the Cowboys aren't a horrific team. It's just that, hey, when you're hurt, and we've talked about it in the offseason, when you have a top-heavy roster that gets injured, it's very hard to win games with that. And you know, considering with what we've been doing, I think that, you know, we have some tools to move forward. But those are your stats on the game. But talking about where we're at as of right now, you're 6-8. You got 3 more games to go. And the conversation point's going to be talking about, hey, did Mike McCarthy save his job? And we talked about that after the Thanksgiving game. And I think that he has. And whether we like it or not, I'm not saying that I am in favor of bringing Mike McCarthy back. I prefer we would move on. But we got to also factor in how the Joneses operate, which is they like to stay comfortable. And if they look at it in the sense of, hey, well, Mike, you were given a terrible hand with all the injuries, and you've done a good job, all things considered, the circumstances, we might give you a, multi-year extension, like 2 to 3 years, see what you can do. And the thing is that Mike Zimmer would probably be the alternative. The Cowboys like to go with people that they are familiar with and have worked with. They have no need to try and go out there and shake the boat too much, which is a detriment to say the least. But one of the things that bugs me is that I don't think this team is far off from winning a title. It's just they need to do more with the team building component. Sure, they acquire talent through drafts. Sure, they sometimes acquire talent through trades. Sure, sometimes they sign a couple cheap guys that end up being good deals for them. But when we saw what happened this year, they had a ton of holes on this team that they refused to fill, or they put young guys in a position where they weren't ready to do so. So with that, I would hope that they're going to make a change. But again, we'll talk about this later as the season winds down. They're already saying that they don't want to spend any money in 2025 because they're cap strapped, which is not the case whatsoever. They are not. They have many levers and pulleys, whatever you want to refer to it as, where they can move cap spaces around so that they can have the necessary room to re-sign guys, go get players. And again, I'm not saying they got to go willy-nilly. They just need to add a couple guys to plug up the holes. So, where does this leave us? Well, we got 3 games to go. The Cowboys have the 14th pick in the draft. We're just kind of going along with the vibes. And we will see how the rest of this season pans out. But if I am being honest with you guys, with where the Cowboys are at, they're probably going to end up with a pick between 10 and 16. And then it's just a matter of, well, what do you do from there? Because you don't have a 4th round pick, which will end up probably being between 100 to 120, depending on the compensation picks that are coming along as well for other teams. Do you re-sign something? Because to me, Osa is a priority. We talked about that in the other video. And I don't think that they're going to bring back as many of the guys that I would want them to. And it's frustrating because they can. They just act like they don't have the ability to, which is a lie. So don't let anybody tell you otherwise. But yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it. Cool that the Cowboys won. I'm not going to apologize for a victory whatsoever. Even though logically they're out of the playoffs. Not mathematically, but they will soon be out of the playoff picture. But it is what it is, man. We're just here along this ride because we kind of know how they're going to operate. So might as well enjoy it while there's a couple more games left. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I will catch you guys in the next one, and we'll just see how this season plays out, man. 3 games to go. Let's see how it ends, and we'll go from there. All right, guys. Have a good one. Goodbye.